And we are live on the Galaxy Man Show. So what I'm going to get you to do is introduce yourself and explain a bit about what you do.
Yeah, sure. My name is Deborah Ann. I'm a Sydney-based actress, and that's kind of all I do with myself. I just wait around for auditions and then do them when they pop up.
Awesome. So we'll dive right into the questions, Deborah. So
Yeah.
you're on this film called Legend of the Five. What can people expect from your character in the film?
So Kaylee is a very independent 15 going on 16-year-old. She is just a go-getter. She doesn't rely on other people, and she has moved around a lot growing up, and so she's just learned to adapt. And I think her character doesn't really allow herself to get vulnerable or close to any other of the other students she goes to school with. And in this film, she really learns to grow and open up and actually build relationships with the other characters, and that's her journey.
Awesome. So for my next question, what was the experience like filming on set of The Legend of the Five?
It was insane. If anyone has been to the Blue Mountains for even just a hike, sometimes you can get 4 different seasons in a day. And it was physically challenging and mentally as well, but the crew that we worked with were just they were so on top of it. They had jackets ready for us as soon as we finished filming a scene, or if we were going for another take. In between those 30 seconds that we had, they would just run over to us with a raincoat, umbrella, jacket, water bottle. They were so on top of it and took such good care of us. So I think we definitely had it as good as we could have, given the elements that we were working with in the environment.
So for my next question, why should people get into The Legend of the Five?
I think it's a great family film where it's not it's rated PG and the target audience is 8 to 14 years old. But I think given that it's a family film, it's a film for adults, teenagers, the younger generation, young adults as well. Like, I'm 26 and my friends and I are so excited to go watch it. And it's just one of those, if you're looking for adventure, fantasy, elements of magic, elements of danger, it covers a lot of ground, and it's very entertaining no matter how young or old you are.
Awesome. So for my next question, if you could be in any film or TV series franchise, what would it be and why?
I would love to be in The Hunger Games. I love the action aspect of it and the danger, but also anything to do with out of this world and a fantasy realm that's not fully in reality, but it could be. And as an audience, you can still imagine, and you're taken to that world where it could be your reality. I like that aspect of it. So I'd love to be in something like the Maze Runner, Hunger Games, anything where it's you against the world, trying to save the world.
Awesome. So for my next question, if you could give any advice to anyone that wants to get into the acting industry, and what are the positives and negatives into the acting industry, and how to get through those negatives?
I think in any industry, whether it's creative or if you're a doctor or a teacher, a lawyer, there's always going to be negatives and challenges. And so just knowing within yourself that there is a lot of rejection in the acting industry, and you don't always hear back after you go for an audition whether or not you got it, but it's having that belief in yourself and being able to get back up. And even though it is a personal thing, not taking it so personally, because sometimes you don't get a role. There have been auditions where I go in and I feel like I've nailed it and I don't book the role, and it is disappointing, but it could have just come down to the fact that maybe you look too old or too young next to the co-star or the other person they want to cast you with. And so sometimes these things are out of your hands and out of your control. So from an actor's point of view, if once you book the audition, you've already won. The fact that you get to bring your character and your interpretation of the role to casting directors and other creative people, I think that, like, make the most of that opportunity. And if you don't get it, don't feel like you're not meant to be where you are right now. So just to seize the moment and enjoy it.
Awesome. So for my next question, who inspired you to get into acting, and what inspiration do you reckon inspired you?
So the person that inspired me isn't really, like, she's not real. When I was, how old was I? I think I was 9 or 11. I can't remember. 2005. It's when the Peter Pan with Jeremy Sumpter came out, and I was obsessed with the movie. I wanted to be a mermaid, and then I wanted to be a fairy, and I wanted to be a mermaid fairy, and I just wanted to fly and, like, do all these things that I knew weren't achievable on Earth. And then I realized what I actually wanted was to make other people feel how I felt watching that film. And so I started looking into the behind the scenes of all these movies that used CGI and green screens. And I discovered the world of harnesses and all this, like, make-believe stuff. And so I think the movie that really was the tipping point for me wanting to go into this industry was Peter Pan, and just being able to tell stories and transport people from this world to a completely different world, just even for like an hour and a half. And I love that magical feeling.
Awesome. And so for my last question, if The Legend of the Five could get a sequel, what would you want out of your character next in the sequel?
Kaylee. So like I mentioned before, Kaylee, towards the end of the film, she really does open up and become vulnerable. And I think that in itself is a huge character arc. But just to continue to develop that and be a leader, like, she's a leader for herself, but being able to open that up and lead the other students and other people that she comes across and learn to, I guess, encourage other people, that would be nice to see. And yeah, her being able to speak up more and have the confidence to know that her opinion matters, because she doesn't speak much in this film. And that is something that the writer has purposely orchestrated, because she is a very internal woman. So yeah, just to explore more and, like, maybe have more lines, Peter McLeod, for the next film.
Awesome. Well, can I just say thank you so much, Deborah, for making an appearance on my show. It means so much. Everyone definitely go support Deborah and the Legend of the Five cast members. The trailer looks incredible. And yeah, definitely go see the Legend of the Five these holidays.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
One tree is all trees. Their roots intermingle in the ground. A ticking clock, and time is almost up.
I read that these markings represent the elements, and in this culture, everyone is born with one.
Like the star sign?
Okay, we need to know where we are, how we got here, and how we're getting back.
You are in the grove of the earth element. We are in tune with the music of creation. We can manipulate nature, heal others.
Nowhere in this forest is safe. We're all gonna die out here.
Do you really think that 5 children could stand against the end of the world?
I'm just trying to figure out where to go next.
I can't believe you locked me out of here. This was my home!
Where does it say heroes can't make mistakes?
We are not going to give up.
You'll soon discover how meaningless you are in this equation.
Why did I ever save the people who are most important? This is the place where things are darkest.